taking copious notes, gaining a lot of knowledge, taking some
Hey,
screenshots,
Nitra, what's up?
because there's just
Welcome to
been a
another
lot
video.
of really good
Today is
nuggets
the
that have
We
been
the
shared.
People event.
Hope you're inviting all your friends in and really having the kind of conversation in this country I
Yeah.
certainly have not seen in my lifetime. And I'm curious to hear the thoughts of my guest right now, Killer Mike. Mike, we've been at this moment many times in our country where
Yeah.
tragedy has struck. About this issue in particular, we've seen these videos before,
Imagine cooking under the
but right
skies.
now it feels like the world is just changing right before our very eyes. I can kind of imagine how some of our elders felt during the civil
Are there
rights
people that
movement to
killed
see the
X still
world
in
just
jail?
changing right
Absolutely.
before our eyes. So you're there in
And
Atlanta,
hopefully they
where
are.
certainly there was a recent incident with Rashard Brooks. We've been absorbing everything that's been happening in the country
And
up
they
until
killed
this
someone.
moment. So how are you kind of handling all of this emotionally right now?
Man, as an American, it's hard because it's just it's a growing pain of sorts. You know what I mean? We know that our country is progressing. We know that on the other side of that progression, that we all are going to be better. I think our community and people who are essentially descendants of the cornerstone of this nation, and the cornerstone of this nation is the Constitution is important, the founding fathers was important, but free labor allowed all that to stay there. And as the descendant of a slave, and then when I say descendant, I don't mean anything long. My great grandmother taught me how to sew a button on a shirt as she was sewing blankets that we still use in my house. Her mother was born enslaved. So that's how close slavery is. I know how to sew a button because the slave taught her child to, and that child taught me to. That's how close. So I think that I'm excited that progress is happening, but I know on the other side of that progression, Breonna, Mr. Floyd, brother that was killed here, there are martyrs, and we've long been
Yeah,
martyrs for the
just like
progression of
those
this country.
assault marauder things,
And
those
I hope that
annoying
as
things.
we enter into
I'll be right
another
back.
martyrdom, another black person has died at the hands of the state. I hope that we enter this coming out determined to see justice on the front end, and not only when we're angry. I hope that coming out of this, the young people that are in the streets organizing, continue to organize in the time of peace like they are in time of war, because they're organizing effectively. They're causing systemic change and immediate and not some protracted campaign. And I support that. And plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. And as long as you keep doing that, you're going to capitalize off the gains that you're making. And I appreciate, and I don't mean capitalize in monetary way. I mean, these kids are capitalizing, progressing. Organizers on the ground root level who've been working for years, the campaigning around police brutality and violence, have in an instant been able to organize people to progress law.
Yeah, it's been a lot of impressive moments. I mean, you mentioned about how the young people, they're so organized. Because I think about the progression from, say, Ferguson to now, and it's been pretty
Yeah,
outstanding when you think
absolutely.
about it. What has impressed you the most about what you're seeing right now?
What has impressed me that
Mhm.
in '92 we rioted in Atlanta. There were riots in other cities. There were riots in Los Angeles. But there was such a stronghold on information. Local news wouldn't let what other cities know until after it was over.
No,
What's impressed me is the ability
no,
to use technology. We haven't
not
gotten
really.
as efficient as Hong Kong, but it's coming. You are seeing at a day and instant people are able to mob on a place. People are able to say what needs to be said and go and get ghosts. You're seeing in an instant what our grandparents were able to do. Like we have a house party app in which people can sit down on that house party app. You can organize with those 8 people to know what are we going to do in school, what are we going to do in local school boards, what are we going to do with city council. Our grandparents used to have to do that in the basement. Now you're able to do it over your phones and organize effectively and immediately. So I'm impressed by the level of organization I've seen. Because when I was an organizer at
Why is
15,
everybody
16
coming
years
on this
old,
rock now
we'd
that
have
I
to
was
literally meet
here?
for 30 days to plan something that you might strike that might be 3 hours or even 30 minutes. But you're constantly there.
No.
These kids are able to do it, and these young people and these organizers are able to do it in a blink of an eye. But that only happens when you train like Floyd Mayweather. Organizers are like Mayweather. They never not training. And I think that these are the people again that we should be looking to follow in these times.
But you dropped the mention of the House Party app. Mike, are you on House Party? You use it?
I, I just found out about it. I got the cool people in my life hit me to what's new. Two apps I'm most interested in right now are House Party, and there's an app called Convos that allows me to speak directly back and forth with people. That's a lot cooler than sometimes Twitter where stuff gets lost in translation. But you know, I'm still over there tweeting with the angry moms and dads. Shouts out to the old folks.
I think about where activism was on this issue in particular when Ferguson happened, and looking at it now,
on my
it is,
stream.
while a lot of positives that came out of Ferguson, particularly the Black Lives Matter movement,
We the People,
seeing the level and the difference is that, you know, clearly there was a lot of lessons learned there, and they've applied them now. And so it definitely seems much more cohesive, and that's been impressive. What has impressed you about what you're seeing, especially from these young people who really have seemed to seize this moment?
What I've seen be most beautiful about this time is kids have the ability to adjust and move and be like water. They're truly plotting, planning, strategizing, organizing, and mobilizing. The skateboard kids came in. Usually you would see in the 60s, black people look like me. We make public protests. We get our heads split open. Sympathetic whites and allies and people who truly believe in freedom, justice, and equality. Not only are you beating black people, you're dragging off white people. Like, and it became a tapestry, a unified front to give us our most basic civil rights and acknowledge our human rights. That tapestry is happening again, and it's happening in a bigger and better way. I was talking about those skateboard kids. I saw those kids first come in as defenders. When police were hacking with people with batons, they held up the skateboards to protect them. Most kids who skateboard, my kids skateboarders, most skateboard kids in the South don't look like me, right? But I saw the skateboard community literally come in and save protesters from beatings, and then they got really frisky and they started attacking back. And I was like, this is, although I don't want violence in the streets, because those kids deserve to grow to be adults without being soldiers against the state that their parents pay taxes to. It impressed me that the proletariat showed government that you work for us. And in this moment, we are exercising our right to make public display of the evil that has happened. It makes me proud that I live in a country that has long promised equality, rarely given it to people who look like me. People who don't look like me defended.
You made an interesting note and observation about the skateboard crew. And I think anybody who's watching has noticed that it's not just black people who are out here protesting.
No, it's not. It's a tapestry of people.
It's a tapestry of people.
The Amish. The Amish.
Yeah. Wasn't that crazy?
I didn't even know the Amish saw the news.
I was thinking, who told them? Right? I was like, how did they find out? Right?
I was so impressed though. I was so thankful. My heart was filled with joy.
Yeah, so you're seeing all these different types of people that you never thought this issue would resonate with them. It kind of reminds me of your music. Your music is unapologetically pro-black, unapologetically, right?
Absolutely.
But yet, when you look at a Killer Mike fan, it's across multicultural section of music is able to resonate that way, despite the fact that you are also clearly talking to your people.
Yeah, I'm proud to be me. I like me. I like black people. I'm not making no excuses. I'm not making no apologies coming in the door. I love us. I am in love with us. And because I love me, it has nothing to do or affecting my love of others. I have a very good friendship with East Indian cousins, Raj and Neil. They own a store right next to Walters on what's happening. So if you're from Atlanta, you know about Walters. If you're a big guy from Atlanta, you know about, the store right next door. These guys have always just been good to me. Raj went to India. He came back, brought my wife incense, these beautiful little elephant characters. He's proud to be Indian. I've learned about being Indian from my Indian friends. When you're truly who you are, how could you be offended? How could you not love it or like it? Like, man, I'm a part of the original people on earth. I'm from the continent that birthed all humanity. I think when you wear that proudly and unapologetically, and not from a place of needing someone to be below you, there's no reason for a people not to like you. His face is lying. I like you. I got plenty of heroes that don't look like me. There's a portrait of John Brown on my wall in my basement. He's a hero. He doesn't have to look like me. You know what I mean? But I refuse to act like people who look like me aren't great. I didn't say good. I didn't say good enough. I didn't say
You
equal.
just sent me
I
a
said
friend
great.
request.
I'm from a great and mighty people. And if you can't accept that, then maybe I'm not for you. But I believe that because I am simply who I am, I believe that that gets accepted. Because you know what? I remember being on the tour bus, and I'm on there with a bunch of Northeasterners because of course, my rap partner's a white guy from Brooklyn. And we're on there and watching Swamp People, and everybody's laughing. And I come up and stagger into the front, and I look at it and I start smiling, and I look at the room and say, I got more in common with them than any of y'all. And I just walk to the back. Now, because it's the truth. I'm a Southern boy. My grandparents from Alabama and rural Georgia. I grew up more like people on those shows. So I think across cultural lines and across racial lines,
he's
people
inviting
identify
me.
with
I'm
me
gonna
just
join him
because
after
I'm your
this. This
typical
random guy
American
just
guy.
friended me. I don't even
You
know who it is. I
and
want to
I
see who
have
it
some
is after
special
this.
things. I'm not going to deny that I'm special. I'm a smart kid, went to Morehouse, had an understanding of some cool stuff. I married a beautiful woman, that helps, But I think
Why
that
he
ultimately
joined?
what resonates with people is that I'm to look past your race or ethnicity, not to look past who you are culturally, but to look at it and love it and learn from it without wanting to co-opt it or be it.
What you're talking about in a very succinct and robust way is really allyship. And that's been a word that, yeah, you have a lot of, it sounds like you have a lot of really great allies that are in your life. Now in this moment, I've gotten the question constantly. I assume you have too, about how to be an ally. What do I have to do? Right? I've had so many conversations with white people, like really good friends of mine in the last
Yeah.
2 weeks, where all right, guys.
This event
I appreciate your enthusiasm, but
hold on.
This event
hold on a
kind of,
second. Relax.
this event's kind of boring.
Nevertheless, that being
it's
said,
worth
is
it
that
though. It tells us
what would you
about
say to somebody who wants
whatever
to
it's called.
not only be an ally but be a good ally?
You want to be a good ally.
Oh yeah,
white corporation, white person with the means. That's a
why
worthy
can't I
ally.
dance?
On the ground level, if you're just working
I
hard
know.
every week, you don't know what to do. You're an electrician, you're a plumber. Grab
Yeah,
one
sure.
young man who
Wait,
doesn't look like you, a young
Go
woman,
do something.
and teach them that trade. That's allyship. Allyship isn't just throwing the money. Because if you got the big money, put it towards somewhere. But on a very real and basic level, my son had an accident with a man named Keith. I bought my son a car. My son Malik, with a very pretty girl in the front seat, rear-ended this guy. Calls me. I pull up to Keith and the police officer. I say, if he'll allow me to handle this privately, I just don't want to call my insurance company because, I had just got in an accident, but I drive fast. My son, Keith, in good faith, gave me the opportunity to do that, and me and this man became friends. I'm literally friends with this white man who told me about Atlanta pre-white flight and desegregation, who's taught me about fatherhood and the importance of presence in your child's life. That doesn't happen if we're not open for it to happen. So an allyship with white people doesn't have to be an organization of saving the world. But you do have to do what me and Keith did. You do have to, on blind faith, trust someone who doesn't look like you and allow that person to educate you. So an allyship is not just calling your black friend saying what I do. It's going to black organizations that might be local and saying, what am I doing? It's calling your friend and saying, what's the next thing you're doing? And I want to be an extra set of hands. Doesn't mean you get to go to the black people meeting, but it does mean that they say, I'm going to feed people on Skid Row. You show up. And you show up with empathy and care, and you do it. And I'm going to tell you, we need doctors in that space. We need lawyers in that space. We need legislators in that space. We need the people who are really empowered to be in that space, because there's some things that need to happen on ground level that once the grassroots people have gotten it here, there needs to be money put behind these things. A lot of the problems that we have now that are erupting could have been solved in 96, 2006, 2016, and all these other years, but we chose not to because we trusted the right thing's going to happen. Right thing's not going to happen unless we make it. And after that, you have the potential to truly be brothers and sisters. You have the potential to be past the letting cultural, national, religious markers evict the fact that I know that I'm talking and I'm with a human being, and at our very core, past any physical difference. My job is to honor the soul of that other human being, so there's no need to have allies because I'm not at war. I truly have a brother and sister. There's no need to have an ally because there's no threat of war. much deeper than policy, much deeper than the human condition in the last 500 years. We have to get back to that. So that's my humble opinion. I don't know, where that takes white America, but I hope we stay standing up, fighting together.
Mike, we've been having this great conversation, and a lot of people watching, they probably want to know.
Wait, should we go to game chat for a second? Hello?
We're talking about this. Everybody's fired up. Everybody's willing to do things, and then the next minute, the momentum dies. So how can the people who are watching now, how can they keep this conversation, this action, this momentum going?
Take this conversation, get 8 to 10 people around.
Hey, go to party chat.
And then connect with other people that may be in closer proximity, 30, 40, 50 miles, even another city or places that are doing it right, that are doing it right in other places. Connect with those people and just if all of us do a little, no one has to do a lot. If all of us do a little, if all of us pick a little to do, no one will have to do a lot.
That's a word right there. If we all do a little bit, nobody has to do a lot.
Has to do a lot, absolutely.
Nobody has to do a lot. Mike, I have enjoyed this conversation like I enjoy every conversation with you. I can certainly talk to you. Yes, it is mutual. The mutual respect and love in society right here. Thank you.
I kind of want to 1v1 people creative now.
So many people. I mean, I knew
really
that
care
you tell the truth the way it needs to be told, but a lot of people during this time of crisis have been exposed to you and understand the people. This is you all day long. So thank you for all the work and all the inspiration, all the words, everything that you're adding to this conversation, to this action. With that said, we have to say goodbye, but we don't have to get out of here just yet, because I'm gonna toss this on to my brother, Van Jules, who can take it from here.
Okay.
Jamel and I, we spent the past hour, we've been talking to Killer Mike, we've been talking to Elaine Welteroth. We also got a chance to see that amazing video from Lil Baby. Jamel, what did you get from your conversation with Killer Mike? And more importantly to me, what do you make of this moment that we're in?
The one thing you can always expect from Killer Mike is blunt honesty. I think that's why a lot of people look at him as a really...
Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna ask my dad if I go. I'm gonna ask my dad if I could play on mobile after I could practice on mobile and stuff while with you. I'll be right back, and we can try to, and then we can edit each other. Okay, I'll be right back. Hello? Who did you suggest? Oh, yeah? Okay, Maxie, I'm gonna put on mobile in like 2 minutes. I'm just waiting for my dad to log into his iPad. Since I'm playing on his iPad. Sally Fat Butts? Who? Who? Wait, who are you talking to? Mate. Who are you talking to? He isn't talking. He's in game chat. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, Maxie, I'm playing Fortnite on my dad's iPad, so I'm gonna close Fortnite on here so that I could go